Let's bring in Michael Morris, Guggenheim Securities Entertainment and Media Analyst. Michael covers Warner Brothers, Disney, Netflix, Paramount, and a bunch of others. It's good to see you. I mean, right now, what is more interesting, the Charter deal or the strikes?
The Charter Disney disruption is more interesting, to be honest, because I think you made the point earlier that this dispute is different from what we've seen in the past, being treated as sort of a referendum on the future of the bundle. And when you have, this disagreement with arguably two of the largest, if not the two largest players in the space, you really are getting close to what could be a tipping point for how consumers receive content and sports content in particular for the rest of the future, if you will.
Does it feel like mutually assured destruction? Because I've seen some estimates on, for example, what would happen to Charter's revenue, assuming that, say, 10% of subs cancel and then more cancel their broadband. What's at risk for either side?
Sure. I mean, I think mutually assured destruction is a good way of thinking about it. I don't think it's full destruction, but it eliminates a very meaningful part of economics that could buoy both companies during a transition period from a bundled world and a linear world to a streaming world. So we all know that streaming is the future. We see it in cord cutting. We see it in more content being made available. And from the point of view of the distribution company, like a Charter, there is more and more usage of their broadband service, which increases its value. So there is a lot of value being created at the same time that people who have been overpaying for a service or services that they don't want are taking that money out of the system. So this dispute is really about how do each of those legacy companies participate in the economics of the future business model. And it's really going to be important for how contracts are established across the entire industry for the future.
I mean, it really is not your typical carriage fee dispute. So how do you expect it to shake out? Do you think they're going to make a deal?
I do think that they will make a deal. I know that I might be, I don't know if I'm in the minority, but it's certainly debatable. But like I just said, and Carl hinted to, there is a significant portion of each company's near-term economics that they will be giving up, right? Disney generates a significant amount of revenue from their pay TV distribution partnerships, even as cord cutting continues. And Charter generates a significant amount of its gross profit from its video product, even though they say that they're getting closer to a point of indifference. So each company, while they want to plan for that digital future, they would be better off doing it from a position of generating the near-term cash flow. I'd also point out, and I think this is a point that perhaps Julia made before, if each, this is only the start. So if these two sides do not reach an agreement, it has implications for the bundle across the board. Now, Charter, part of their disadvantage is that there are these virtual packages out there that consumers can switch to, and they're priced $20 to $25 less expensively than Charter's video package when you look at their ARPU. And so that is a point that shouldn't be overlooked when you think about whether or not Charter would be willing to come back to the negotiating table.
Right. So we just took a look at your buys. Are any of them at risk? Are you considering ratings changes, whether it's because of Charter or the ongoing strikes?
We certainly always consider whether we need to make ratings changes and what's at risk. What I would point out about the media industry is it has been a very disliked industry for an extended period of time, and valuation multiples on the business is traded at discount. And that reflects the expectation that these companies will be under pressure. Now, we haven't talked about Netflix, but we still see Netflix as an incredibly strong company that spends a meaningful amount on its content, and it uses it to distribute content directly to the consumer, which means more money spent by the consumer makes it to Netflix and makes it to the content owner than it does in a traditional bundle. If you look at the traditional media companies, they spend substantially similar amounts on content to what Netflix spends, but they're still beholden to a legacy model that is under pressure. We believe it's very important for those companies to aggressively establish both the right level of spending and a streaming first product that helps them sort of move across this divide. Now, this in the near term looks like pressure, but it could just be the catalyst that forces them to be more aggressive and more disciplined in pursuing that streaming future.
It's obviously fascinating, even to those who don't work in the business. Michael, thanks. Good to see you.